السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Continue inshallah the Seerah, Al-Qad's Seerah. And last time, what did we talk about last time? Sulh al-Hudaybiyah, the treaty, peace treaty between the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Muslims and Quraysh people. Actually between almost all the tribes, because whoever wants to ally with Quraysh, they find, whoever wants to ally with Muslims, find, and now we have a peace treaty between the two sides. And the peace treaty included a few items. What was the first item?
10 years peace.
Okay, 10 years truce, peace, no war. That was the most important one. If any Muslim comes to Quraysh,
comes back.
it's okay. They are not required to send him back. Opposite, if any person comes from Quraysh to accept Islam, they are required to bring him back. But we talk about all the details that it was Quraysh later on who came and asked the Prophet ﷺ to waive this, to accept anybody who comes from them. After a few Muslims who used to live in Mecca and they managed to escape, and the Nabi ﷺ rejected, they didn't want to receive them just to fulfill the treaty, but they managed to gather together and stay in the route of caravans of Quraysh and make a lot of problems for Quraysh. So they decided, we don't want this, no, accept them, take them. Now Nabi ﷺ, that was, after this happened, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed, إِنَّا فَتَحْنَا لَكَ فَتْحًا مُبِينًا. Indeed, we give you a great conquer, a great victory. Peace, and Islam needs just peace and clear air, and it will spread like very fast. And we mentioned that only 1,400 people came with the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam for this Umrah, to make Umrah. They didn't manage to. 3 years after that, 130,000 people will come to make Hajj with him. That's huge number of Muslims, huge growth in the number of Muslims just because of peace. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, what would he do next? The first thing he would do next? Expand. يُكَاتِبِ الْمُلُوكُ وَالْأُمَرَاء. He will start sending letters, envoys to all kings and emirs and leaders of different places. Quraysh, now we are in peace with them, we don't have to worry about anything, no more war, alhamdulillah, that's what we want. لما عاد من عمرة الحديبية, when he came back, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, now he had the peace treaty, he started sending these letters. Number one, he sent a letter to An-Najashi. An-Najashi is the title of the leader of Abyssinia and Habasha. Anybody who judge is called An-Najashi, but his name is different. Like Fir'aun. Fir'aun or Pharaoh is not the name of somebody, it's the title of anybody who ruled Egypt at a certain point of time. And so on, Kisra and Qaisar. These are titles. So he sent a letter to An-Najashi. His name was Ashama, and he said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. هذا كتاب, this is a letter from Muhammad al-Nabi, from Muhammad the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, إلى النجاشي, الأصحم عظيم الحبشة, to An-Najashi, the leader of Al-Habasha. سلام على من اتبع الهدى. Peace be on those who follow guidance. وآمن بالله ورسوله, and those who believe in Allah and His Messenger. I bear witness that there is no God except Allah alone, with no partners. لم يتخذ صاحبة ولا ولدا, and that He has no wife or children. وأن محمدا عبده ورسوله, and that Muhammad is His slave and messenger. أدعوك بدعاية الإسلام. I call you with the call of Islam. فإني أنا رسوله. I am the messenger of Islam. فأسلم تسلم. Accept Islam, and you should live in peace, you should be peaceful. And he quoted the ayah. We know that most of the residents of Al-Habasha, Abyssinia at this time, what was the religion? Christians. So he's talking to them, قُلْ يَا أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ تَعَالَوْا إِلَىٰ كَلِمَةٍ سَوَاءٍ بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَكُمْ. Say, O people of the book, come to a common word between us and you, between you and us. أَلَّا نَعْبُدَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ, that we should not worship nothing but Allah, our God. ولا نشرك به شيئا, and we should not associate anybody with Him. ولا يتخذ بعضنا بعضا أربابا من دون الله, and that we should not take each other like lords besides Allah. فإن تولوا فقولوا اشهدوا بأننا مسلمون. If they turn away, you say, we witness, be our witness that we are Muslims. Allah did not say فإن تولوا فاقتلوهم. A lot of people talk like, Allah did not say if they turn away, like they reject Islam, what should we do to them? Nothing. We are Muslims. You have your way, you have our way. He didn't say kill them or fight them or stuff like this. All the fight and stuff is only for those who fight us. Only for those who show us, hostility and they attack us or so. فإن أبيت فإن عليك إثم النصارى من قومك. If you refuse, you will have double responsibility. You will have the sin of your followers because a lot of people follow you. وبعث الكتاب, the Rasul or the messenger that he sent صلى الله عليه وسلم to him was عمرو بن أمية. فلما أخذه من النجاشي took the book. He was a very soft, good person, and actually he was hosting a lot of Muslims for a long time before that, since you remember when they were in Mecca. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam sent them to this just ruler as somebody who will host them. And they were a lot of people were there, including Ja'far ibn Abi Talib, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the uncle of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He was there. فأكرم الرسول, he honored this messenger a lot. And he نزل على السرير, he got out of his throne وأسلم على يده, and he accepted Islam at the hands of Ja'far, who was there already since like more than 10 years at this time, or long time before that time. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam sent asking the hand to get married to Habiba, the daughter of Abu Sufyan. She migrated, she accepted Islam very early when they were in Mecca, and migrated with her husband. But when he got there, he rejected Islam and he accepted Christianity, and then he died. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam wanted to honor her. He sent at the same time, or around the same time, to ask for her hand for marriage. And after Najashi accepted Islam, he paid her dowry on behalf of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, like very big dowry. And then now Muslims, alhamdulillah, they are in peace and everything. It will be time for everybody there, the Muslims who have been living there for a long time, to go back to join the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and also to take Habiba bint Abi Sufyan. She was the daughter of Abu Sufyan. Even though her father was still non-Muslim, they will take her to the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So this person, Najashi, accepted Islam and he became Muslim, and he died even as Muslim. At the 9th after Hijrah, 2 years after that, or 3 years after that, he died, and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam actually prayed Salatul Janazah, Salatul Ghaib for him. He got the news that he died, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called him, and he prayed Salatul Ghaib, like Janazah, in Medina for the absent. He died in Al-Habasha, in Abyssinia. And then the next Najashi, the next ruler came, and the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam also sent him a letter, but it's not known, it's not recorded in the history whether he accepted Islam or not. That was his book, or his letter to Al-Najashi. He also sent to Al-Muqawqis Azim Al-Qibt, Malik al-Iskandariya, the king of Alexandria in Egypt, and he sent a letter to him, almost with the same thing. Most Egyptians were Christians. قال بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم من محمد بن عبد الله, from Muhammad, the servant of Allah, to Al-Muqawqis, the leader of Al-Qibt, the Copt. سلام على من اتبعت, same thing. And he said, I call you with the call of Islam, أسلم تسلم, accept Islam, you should live in peace. أسلم يؤتيك الله أجرك مرتين, if you accept Islam, Allah will give you a reward double. فإن توليت فإن عليك إثم أهل القبط. He is reminding him with his responsibility, like if you turn away, you will take the responsibility or the sin of your people. And he quoted the same ayah, قُلْ يَا أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ, say, O people of the book, come to a common word between us. Same thing, he sent it with Hatib ibn Abi Balta'a, one of the companions of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. أكرمه المقوقس, he was very generous with him. ووضع الكتاب في حق من عاج, he honored the letter of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and he put it in an ivory container or something out of respect. وختم عليه, he sealed it. واحتفظ به, he kept it. And he told him that I know he is a prophet, but I was thinking, I know there was a prophet, أنه بقي نبي, there was a prophet who will appear sometime, but I used to think he will appear in the Sham, around the Syria area, Palestine, this area. And he did not accept Islam clearly, but he said, like, he honored this messenger, and he said, I know that there is a prophet who will appear, and so on. And he even sent some gifts to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He sent 2 slave girls, Maria al-Qibtiyya, al-Musriya, wa Sirin, to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, along with honey and a mule people, a couple of mules, and things like that. So Nabi ﷺ decided to choose Maria for himself, and he gives Sirin, the other girl, for Hassan ibn Thabit. This is how, this is the second book. The third letter or book that he sent, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, كتب إلى كسرى, Malik al-Furs, the king of Persia. And same thing, they were mostly Majus, fire worshippers. So he said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and same thing, سلام على من اتبع الهدى وآمن بالله أدعوك بدعاية الإسلام إني أنا رسول الله إلى الناس. I am the messenger of Allah to all people, كافة, all of them. لينذر من كان حيا ويحق القول على الكافرين. He did not quote the ayah because he's not Christian. So he sent him this message. But this man was arrogant. بعث الكتاب, and Nabi sent the book with Abdullah ibn Hudhaf al-Sahmi, and the kingdom of Persia was so big. So he told, the Nabi told his messenger to give it to the governor of the closest district that belongs to Persia, which was Azim al-Bahrain, the leader of al-Bahrain, or Bahrain. So he will send it to his president, his king. And he did. When Kisra received the book, he said, قال أخزاه الله عبد حقير من رعيتي يكتب اسمه قبلي. A little person of my followers, of my people, of my subject, he writes his name before me. قال يعني ومزق الكتاب وكذا. And he يعني tore or يعني tear the book. فلما بلغ النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ذلك, when he came to Ramadan, قال مزق الله ملكه. May Allah destroy and tear apart his kingdom. And it happened at the hand of his own son. His own son actually killed him, and he got the kingdom from him. And soon after that, a few years later, Huzimu, they were defeated by the Romans, the enemies of them. And soon after that, all of that will come to Muslims at the time of Umar, which is a few years after that. Number 4, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam sent a book to Qaisar Malik al-Rum, the king of the Romans. And he said the same thing, they were mostly Christian, so he sent them the same thing that he sent to the Christian, and he sent it with Dihya ibn Khalifa al-Kalbi, and he told him to give it to the governor of the first district of the Roman Empire, and this was Azim Busra, the leader of Busra, so he will send it to his king. At this time, Busra, Qaisar, the king, he just won the war against his permanent enemy, the Persian, and he was a very committed Christian person. So he used to live in Homs. He came from Homs, ماشيا نذر أن يأتي ماشيا إلى بيت المقدس. He took a vow that if he won, he would come all the way to Bayt al-Maqdis walking. And he did. He came all the way to Jerusalem on his foot walking. So he received the book, but before reading the book, before reading the letter, he said, well, do we have any Arabs? I know that Arabs usually come to trade in our kingdom. Do we have any Arabs, any relatives probably of that person? At this time, Abu Sufyan was leading a caravan to Sham. So he summoned him, they called him, he came all the way to the king, and he said, well, he would ask him about this man, about the Prophet ﷺ. فقال, he made him sit right in front of him, and the rest of his people, his followers, the followers of Abu Sufyan, the people with him, were in the back. And he told them secretly, if he say anything wrong, if he lies, just tell me. And he asked him a few questions. Abu Sufyan استحيا أن يكذب, when he know that, when he felt ashamed or shy to tell any lie. قال كيف نسبه فيكم? How he is as far as lineage, how is his family? Is from a good family? Or قال هو فينا ذو نسب. Yeah, he is from a good family, very good family. He said, فهل قال هذا القول منكم أحد قبله? Anybody before him claimed to be a prophet in your area, in your tribe, in his family or so? قال لا. He said no. He said فأشراف الناس اتبعوه أم ضعفاؤهم? He said that the noble people, like the elite of the society, followed him, or the weak ones? He said the weak ones, mostly the weak ones. قال أيزيدون أم ينقصون? They increase or decrease? He said بل يزيدون, they do increase. قال فهل يرتد أحد منهم سخطة لدينه بعد أن يدخل فيه? Anybody of them reject Islam after they accept it because they don't want it, or they don't accept it, or they don't like it? He said no. He said, فهل كنتم تتهمونه بالكذب قبل أن يقول ما قال? Like he used to lie, used to accuse him of lying. He was known for lying before he claimed that. He said no. قال فهل يغدر? Does he betray? Is it like his characteristic to betray? He said no. But at this time, Abu Sufyan got a little chance to say something. But he said, well, we have a treaty with him just recently, and we don't know whether he will fulfill or not. We don't know. قال يعني نحن منه في مدة لا ندري ما هو فاعل فيها. قال فهل قاتلتموه? Did you have any war with him? He said yes. قال فكيف كان قتالكم إياه? How was the war? Who won and how was it going? قال الحرب بيننا وبينه سجال. It's like, you know, we went sometimes, he won sometimes. قال وماذا يأمركم? What does he order you to do? Or preach you to do? قال يقول اعبدوا الله. He says, or he preaches, worship Allah alone. ولا تشركوا به شيئا. Not associating anything with him. واتركوا ما يقول آباؤكم. Leave and abandon what your culture, your parents do as far as idol worshipping and so on. ويأمر بالصلاة, and he ordered us to pray. والصدق, tell the truth. والعفاف, you know, being modest. والصلة, and to maintain our good relationship with our families and with everybody. قال هرقل, giving a comment on this, the king said, Iraq, he said, ذكرت أنه فيكم ذو نسب. You mentioned that he is from a good family. To answer my question, وكذلك الرسل. And such are the messengers. All of them are from very good, known good families. تبعث في نسب قومها. وذكرت أنه لم يقل أحد منكم هذا القول قبل. And you mentioned that nobody before him claimed that from this area. So I would say that probably he is trying to copy or imitate someone else. وذكرت أنه لم يكن من آبائه من ملك. And you said that nobody of his forefathers, parents or grandparents, that he's a king. So you said that he doesn't have anything like this. So I would say that he is probably seeking the kingdom, the lost kingdom of his family or something. And you mentioned that you did not accuse him, or he was not known for lying. And فعرفت أنه لم يكن ليظهر الكذب على الناس ويكذب على الله. And by this I know that he's not going to avoid lying for people, and now he lies for God, for Allah. وذكرت, and you mentioned that the weak follow him, and such are the followers of prophets or messengers. All of them usually are weak. And you mentioned that they increase, and this is exactly the case of Iman, of faith, any new faith, until it is established and completed. And you mentioned that nobody reject or abandon or abstain from his religion, and such is the faith when it mixes with the good heart and so on. And you mentioned that he never betrayed, and such are the messengers, they never betrayed. And you mentioned that he ordered you to worship Allah alone, not committing any shirk or so on, and he forbade you from idol worshipping, and ordered you to pray, tell the truth, be good, be modest, and all of that. And if you are saying this truth, I'm telling you, فَسَيَمْلِكُ مَوْضِعَ قَدَمَيَّ هَاتَيْنِ. His kingdom, or he will reach all the way to where I'm standing right now. He will get to my place here, and he will own. So subhanAllah, دخل الإسلام في قلبه. He kind of is convinced about Islam, and he said even وَلَمْ أَكُنْ أَظُنُّهُ مِنْكُمْ. I did not think that he would be one of you. He would be from the Arabs. فلو أني أعلم أني أخلص إليه لتجشمت لقاءه ولو كنت عنده لغسلت عن قدميه. If I know that I can reach him, I would do it, and if I reach him, I would wash his feet. ثم دعا الكتاب فقرئ. Then he called for the letter. He opened the letter and he read the letter. When Abu Sufyan came out, قال لقد أمر أمر ابن أبي كبشة. يعني the news of they think like very low about the Prophet ﷺ. This is like somebody from our tribe who is having crazy ideas or something. But now he said, now is the news of Ibn Abi Kabsha, the son of Abu Kabsha, and he mentioned him by a grandfather from the mother's side that he is not known. Usually, it's a way of putting somebody down. If you called him by the name of somebody from his grandfathers that is not known, like he's known to be Bani Hashim ibn Abdul Muttalib, but he called him by an unknown grandfather. He's a grandfather of his, but he's unknown. But he said now that the news reached all the way to the king of the Romans, so much so that قال إنه لا يخافه ملك بني الأصفر, that the king of the yellow people, that's how he called them, the Romans, is afraid of him. ولم يزل أبو سفيان موقنا. From that time, Abu Sufyan, it becomes like deep in his heart that the Prophet ﷺ would, win and would, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him victory. حتى وفقه Allah until he accepted Islam sometime after that. And quickly, inshallah, without taking much time, what happened with the king of Romans, with Herakl, is that he decided to accept Islam. But he was afraid with the people around him. Yes, he is the king, but usually in Christian theological country, it's not only the king. You have the religious people, and you have the hierarchy, and you have a lot of things. So he wanted to test the people around him how they would accept it. He got them all, when he got back to Hims, he got them all in a place, and he closed the place, the palace, and he said, well, you know what, this is the true messenger of God, and we're going to follow him. They, all of them, قال نفروا نفرة الوحش حمر الوحش. They all got away from him. What are you saying? And they tried to leave the place. He closed the place, all the gates already. And then he said, well, no, I was just testing to see how strong you are in your iman, in your faith, in your religion. Are you ready to abandon it or not? And he actually ظن بملكه. He knew that the reaction, it's not going to sit well with them, so he abandoned, or he gave up the idea of Islam. After, subhanAllah, he said very good words, and he did not accept al-Islam. Even though he knew that the Prophet ﷺ is a true prophet. But he honored the messenger, and he gave the messenger of Allah, he honored him and he gave him some gifts. But this messenger, Dihya, in his way back, some people, highway robbers from a close by kingdom, they got his money and they stole his money and everything. Later on, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would send Zayd ibn Haritha with 500 fighters. أدبوا كل المنطقة جميعا يعني. They disciplined them. They told them that you cannot do that with us. And they even, wage a little war, a little dispatch expedition against them. They won some money. They got a lot of, actually, alf ba'ir. They got 1,000 camels. But the leader of these people accepted Islam short time before that. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam honored him and gave him back everything that the Muslims got from his tribe. Actually, there were so many letters and envoys and messengers that the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam sent. We continue discussing the rest of that the next time, inshallah.